I decided to adopt Betty because, well, I feel like there's a little bit of badass in everyone. And for myself, I think Betty was a way for me to not, to not be myself and be somebody else and be able to do all those things that I wanted to do, and kind of in the guise of this really strong female with like a whip, and like I could talk however I wanted to. I could be totally bitchy. Like it was kind of like that feminine side that I had, but my feminine side was like much more aggressive than my male side, which is weird, kind of. So Betty was a good choice, and that was probably about 4 years ago when I sophomore year of college. We wanted to do at my house a party where everybody dressed in drag, and so Betty kind of just manifested. Like it wasn't really anything that I planned out. I kind of just dressed in drag, and then all of a sudden, like it was something huge. The name is funny. You can do it yourself. It's actually really fun. The name is, you take the name of your first pet that you ever had. So my first pet that my family ever had, that at least after I was born, was Betty. It was a cat, and St. George is the street that I grew up on, St. George Street. So Betty St. George, and you can do that too. I have no idea what I would say to Betty. She's like, for a while I didn't even realize that Betty was a separate identity. I thought it was just me in drag, Like I didn't realize that that's what it was, but I think the more people came up and said, so are we going to see Betty tonight? Or like, Betty is such a bitch, like I don't want to go near Betty, or like, stuff like that. And it was, or people would say, I miss Betty, like when are we going to, all that kind of stuff. Like it was, it was weird because I didn't realize that people actually thought of her as like a different person from myself. But as more people were, experiencing her at parties and like interacting with her, it became pretty apparent that she was somebody different. And so, I don't know, I'd tell her that I have a lot of respect for her. I'd tell her that I have a lot of respect for her, and I'd say, teach me your ways. I like talking like different accents and like, kind of acting goofy. Betty's just the only one that I actually, like you go to a costume party and then you get in full character. And I guess it's like more like a character, but it's not really a persona per se. Like, so yeah, I don't really have any actually like personas, but I think artists have a duty, which is to make the world a better place because they can think outside the box. And I think by being Betty, that's kind of a rebellion for me, because I'm not myself. I take off my mask kind of ironically by putting on another one. And also Betty is very anti-misogyny and anti like she'll go up to, like she goes up to, I can't control like she goes up to guys like totally like straight, very like bro kind of guys, goes up and takes off, like starts unbuttoning their shirts and just says, and I think in that sense what's going on is like she's trying to take back ground, like she's like, who's aggressive now, like who's the one who's being hit on, who's the one who's being creeped on, like all that kind of stuff. And I guess it's not really that productive to be like an eye for an eye and like and be aggressive back, But at the same time, it does feel empowering because I have most of my friends are women, and I hear horror stories all the time of how fucking creepy men can be. So Betty is, I guess, in a sense, she's like what I would want a hero to be, like just like she doesn't give a shit. She just knows what she wants. She's sharp as she's super intelligent, really smart, like. She's way smarter than I am, which doesn't make any sense, because like she can hold her own in a conversation. She's not afraid to talk to anybody, and that's not me. But I started also drawing some comic book characters, and there's a girl and there's a boy, and I kind of think of them. I haven't really fully developed them. I started drawing them, but as I started drawing them, I realized that without even meaning to, I've sort of made the girl Betty. And I didn't mean to do that. And the guy, he's a boy, and the funny thing is I kind of made him dress like me, and he just looks very kind of timid, and he's shy, and he's kind of stupid. He's very like sweet, but he's kind of an idiot. And the girl is just like walks all over this poor guy. I mean, they're friends, you know, and they who knows what binds them together, but like they stick together, and I want them to be heroes. I don't know what they're going to do yet. They're going to kind of be like art heroes, I guess, kind of in the sense that Betty is. Even now talking about it's making more sense what they might do, but you know. So yeah, she does kind of pop up in my work, yeah, for sure. Definitely want to bring up Tank Girl, because I think Tank Girl is a big part of what I started doing. Tank Girl at the beginning of college, and I love the art. I mean, I draw myself, and I thought the art was so good, but I just loved how Tank Girl just stomped over everybody, and she had like the best style, you know, wears those combat boots, just has the coolest hair. You know, two guys wrote it, and drew it, but she's just really, really fucking badass. So I think characters like Tank Girl, but yeah, characters like her definitely inform Betty's behavior, and I just wanted to make that point.